Hello and welcome. It is Wednesday at the normal time, the normal place. If you are here in the chat already, please let me know if you can hear me, see me, all of the things, so I do not worry about those. And while I'm waiting for folks in the chat to confirm that the tech is good, I just wanted to show off the fact that yes, I too have one of these shirts. I was getting some I would say some gentle ribbing from folks about the fact that some of the other big dogs here on YouTube had the shirt with their name on it, and I just wanted to be like, well, yeah, me too. I've got one. That's right. I've got the shirt. I don't have to show it off. I'm wearing a sweater, but I just wanted to say, yeah, I got a shirt. It has my name on it. Tony jumping in with the yes, we can hear and see you. And by the way, Tony, I just wanted to tell you because it makes me happy to tell you that I voted for you for the Ezoic top performer thing. Like I went through and I scrolled through and I looked for all the names, and the reason I voted for you is kind of a silly one. It's because it confirmed for me that your name was actually Tony and not Tom. And I was like, that is totally worth the vote. So I went check, just so you know. Oh my goodness. Going up to the chat, I see niche site dojo in there. And for those of you here who were here last week, that's actually Wesley. And Wesley is one of our colleagues who just dropped a bomb on us at the end of last week's stream that he had had cracked the 5K, the 5-figure a month mark. So was making more than 10,000 a month with his websites. And everybody was like, ooh, we want to know more. And people were like, interviews. And turns out he's already planning on going on Doug's channel here pretty soon, which is awesome. And he started a YouTube channel. So we pushed him over the edge. At least we did something. So for those of you who are interested in following his journey and finding out more about what he's done or how he has done it, the link I put over in the live chat while I still had the ability to multitask. Now I will rely upon moderators if anybody else, like Chris and Dee getting here, basically to do any of that in the future. But if you want to follow Wesley, he is Niche Site Dojo. And when I checked his channel, he had 7 subscribers. I was the 8th. Feel free to subscribe and check that out. Our friend Game Guy is here. He said he was here early, and welcome. It's good to see you. Sarah was here and then had to go. She was unable to catch the stream live, so hopefully she will catch it on the replay. For folks who are in the chat, let's smash the like button for no other reason other than it makes my like walnut-sized ego just like a little bit bigger, just a little bit. Scrolling through to say, hey, I see Zach, what's going on? And Margaret and Tony, as I said. Margaret says, will there be a beach in Amelia's background? And will there be? I do not know. Like, is there something going to be happening? I know Alex is on the beach now. I think I missed something. Why will there be a beach here? Jasper, what is going on? I have been looking in the Project Icarus spreadsheet, and for one, we have way more than 50 people now. All of a sudden, like people keep jumping in, which is awesome. The thing that always happens, though, always, meaning this is the second time I've done this, is like people jump in and they're super excited, and then they never come back and update this again. And I'm super jazzed to see that people are utilizing this, and some people are like really into it, right? Like I see people in there updating every day and like leaving comments on other people's little columns, which is awesome and very supportive. And then there's the crickets for the people who for whatever reason have never come back. So those folks, I guess in the next next week or so, if they don't come back, I may just delete them or just move them like off to the side just so I get them out of the way, because what's the point of them taking up the space? They're not there. I also want to thank the folks who took the time to fill in the tell us about yourself little green like strip for that. I learned some things. I learned that we have someone who's a veterinarian in our group, and we have people who are in Canada and in the UK and all around the world, and like these other aspects of your lives. I just think it's really cool. So thank you for being willing to share a bit about that. I think it's so cool to see that in the same group, we have a veterinarian, and a real estate investor and a truck driver and a stay-at-home mom and a vegetarian. And I think it's fun. So thank you for taking the time to do that. I also want to shout out Maeve because I see her in there and that she's from Ireland and filled out the green thing and I remembered her name. I think like pronouncing it correctly because it's spelled in a way that I am not familiar with. Ooh, the other thing I want to say is that I know the name of the person who won the Ezoic community perform. Like, you know, they selected a person from every community and they're going to give them a shirt like this plus I think 150% or like an extra bonus, whatever the money is. I'm totally not selling this well, but I know who it is and I'm super jazzed about it because I'm jazzed about everything apparently. I think I've said that 4 times, but like a couple of weeks ago, right? I was sitting here and I remember saying this. I was like, you guys, you can enter into multiple communities and you should go and do it, right? And there was a couple people in the chat are like, oh, I'll do it right now. You know, I probably won't win anything, but you know, it's probably good that I did. And one of those people got selected for my community. And so I can't announce it though. I have to wait, but I'm super jazzed because I've said jazzed 5 times. Yeah, I'm excited about it. So I just want to tease that that is coming out here pretty soon, and I feel good about the person who was selected because it's a person who is a valued member of this community, who I have spoken to often. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. It's a person I've spoken to often. I did not get to pick. So there was no influence on my part. I did not know who signed up. I have literally no idea if it was like 2 people or 100 people or how this came about, but just saying that's coming out soon. Fletcher Pithers finally caught a live stream. How are you? I am a little tired and sort of overcompensating with caffeine and enthusiasm because I intend to try and bust out a lot of work today and I need to get some like energy going that direction. So it's like, I'm going to do this. And if I have to start the engine from here, like in the center, and then just get some momentum going, that's what's going to happen. But Fletcher, you're new to the stream. I'm not familiar with your name or your story. And so I would love it if you would share a little bit about what brings you here and about you so that we can talk about you or with you. Zach said that he wrote Tom on the ballot. Oh, Dan. And then Wes said that his internet cut off and he had to jump on the phone. Well, we are still here. We have not gone anywhere yet. I'm gonna knock on wood. Sabina, what is going on? I am not a cat. This is a new channel for me, and I'm not a cat. Welcome. I hope that I don't. I'm curious to see how you will play out in this chat. But if you are new to the stream, please tell us a bit about yourself and your interest in websites or what brings you here. There's Adrian. What's going on? Procedural Games says that he was convinced by Tony to do his first potatoes in containers a few years back. That's awesome. Maeve and Joanne, what's going on? You know, Joanne, I wanted to say that I really do appreciate you and the group getting in there. And, you know, this is your first time doing the spreadsheet with us. And I know it was a little confusing in the beginning, but to see you actively using it and then leaving comments and things and like engaging it, I think it encourages other people to do the same. And it's better for us all. So thank you very much. That was awesome. Yes, Carl was, okay, so that's why. So Carl was on a beach today in his stream. And then, and so, yeah, so everybody has a beach except for me. I just have this lovely studio that I worked so hard to arrange for your benefit. Carl is trying to be Alex. I would not mind being Alex right now. I watched his stream and then I've also caught up with a couple of his videos being out on the beach and it's pretty awesome. Pete, welcome. He says, I'm not a number. I'm a free man. There's Alexander. What's up? How's it going? Joanne says, I am at 42,000 words. So that's for today or for this month, because if it's for this month, that is an amazing effort, especially if you were writing that all yourself. Zach says, yes, shun the antique columners. Yeah, I think in the next couple of days, for the folks that are on the left side, you know, when you first log on, you have to scroll to the right to find yourself. I'm just going to move them over to the side. And then maybe the people who contribute the most, I will move them, you know, so it's like a status thing, like how close to the left are you? Bloom later. And Anthony, what's going on? Anthony, I wanted to say that I this morning watched your video about your Amiga site and about how it is beginning to claw its way out of the indexing issues. And that's really positive. And I'm excited and I'm glad you didn't give up on it, because if you had, um, then it wouldn't be doing anything. But I have to ask you this question though. Do you regret not continuing to invest in this over time? Because now, you're like, oh, it's starting to move finally, but could you be further ahead if you had um, continued with it? I mean, I just want to know, like, do you regret not putting more content on it in the meantime? I'm super curious about this. There is Keith. What's up, Keith? Leona, I was looking for you in the spreadsheet and I thought I saw your name in here, but I haven't seen a whole lot of updates in the last few days, and just want to know how you're doing. What's going on? You working? Let us know. Marika, holy cow, Marika, I haven't seen you in here forever, woman. How are you? I had so much fun talking to you a couple of months ago, and so I want to know, have you continued to do the work? Like, what's going on? Ali, what is up? I'm there, Soren. Soren, I really thank you, by the way, for sharing a bit about yourself. I did not know you were a veterinarian, and it makes me just like you so much more. I don't know. I just love people who love animals. Like, it's just all of a sudden it makes you like this fuzzier person now that I know that you like animals. Pete says, cannot announce it, but bribes work. Bribes will not work. I don't mind them though. Vivek, hey, what's going on? Sabina says, I'm working from home this week and it's killing my time management for my sites. Yes, making the switch, getting out of your routine is difficult. Adrian says, okay, because Adrian is in the Icarus spreadsheet and had planned to start another site with an H domain and had not got the domain yet. And he says he finally found and bought it. Actually bought two, both expired. Good links. We'll see which one to pick first. That is good news. It's still January, so we're still just taking off, still getting started. So this is great. I'm getting random messages. I'm like, oh, this better not be the world getting ready to explode. It is not the world getting ready to explode. Sabina says that she's still struggling with keyword confidence. I'm sure more action is the answer. Yes, it is. Fletcher giving us the background. Thank you, sir. Says from the UK and work in construction. Joined Project 24 in mid-November and started my first niche site. Currently at 36 articles and 1,000 page views. So November, and already 1,000 page views, like 1,000 page views total or 1,000 page views a month, because I have a site that is 7 months old and is barely getting 1,000 page views a month. So if that is where you're at, then I say well done. Well done. Pete says, my studio is a green screen. Yes, you really don't want to see what would actually, if this is better than what it looks like normally, then yes. D, just wanted to drop in and say hi. Cannot stay. I hit the like button. Yes, 9 people did that. Thank you very much. D, we will miss you. Catch this on the replay. I am certain that there will be the secrets to unlocking like all of the riches of the world will be in the stream. So you better not miss it. Period. Gabrielle, what's going on? I feel like I saw you in the spreadsheet and then, oh, I see you. And then I don't see any updates. What's going on with that? Our friend Game Guy, Diabetic Game Guy, I thought you were in the spreadsheet like way early and then your name disappeared, or did somebody delete you, or what happened? Because I thought you were one of the first people in there, and then I could be wrong. I could be wrong. What would happen? Zach says, I was saying welcome to Fletcher. Yes, this is a great place to be, like to go and hang out with people who are doing the same thing that you are doing. About Anthony's towards cash flow, about his Amiga site, he says, I don't regret anything, because I was asking about whether or not he wished he had put more content up. He said, I just invested my time and money into other projects instead, and those continue to grow as well. Leona says that she updates weekly. All right, because I see that you were in Alberta and Canada, and then, yep, hosting issues. So I have seen a couple index updates in there. I just wanted to see if you were working. It's all right. That's the thing about this, is like people don't have to update every day or multiple times a day. It's just a way to check in. And then that way I can hassle you when you show up in the live stream. Bloom later says, how many articles are on your 7-month-old site? How many articles indexed? Well, the Bloom later, that site is my codename fight site that I started up against Chris, and the fight has sort of gone like fizzled, but I'm still working on the site. It currently has 105 articles on it, and it is in its 7th month. I started in January, and about 35 of the 105 articles are indexed. Yeah, it's bad. And you know what I'm doing about it? I'm not worrying about it. I am just continuing to put up 15 articles a month and then going like this and letting it do its thing. And I'm writing the articles myself. So if the site never takes off, I won't necessarily feel like I dumped, thousands of dollars into it. And right now for me, I can do those 15 articles. If I plant my bottom in this seat and don't get up for an entire day, I can do the content in one whole day. So it doesn't necessarily drag the whole business down. And my hopes, I'm putting up my fingers, I'm crossing my hopes, is that if I just continue to do this over time, eventually it will like claw its way out. I do have plans to create a month 7 video for that case series, maybe today. I'll get there. I need to do it this month sometime. So I will. So you'll know more about it here soon if I get to the video. Soren says he's fussy. I can imagine quite a lot. So if you say, like, you don't underestimate me and my imagination. Okay. Savita says, okay, but did anyone watch the Niche Pursuits interview? With who? With the dude that was on today? Like the dude that was talking about the selling websites, like that guy? Or like what? Our friend Game Guy says he was in there and somebody wrote over the column. Well, that's lame. I see you and I can actually see you live because the spreadsheet is open right there. And I say, welcome back. And I'm sorry that happened. That's one of the side bonuses, I guess. One of the downsides of giving everybody edit access is sometimes that happens. Jesse, Niche Informer, our friend Niche Informer is here. Jesse, I feel like we haven't caught up in a long time. And I want to know I want to know all the things, like what's going on? Like, how are you? How do you feel about 2021 and like going on to 2022? Because you went full time in the last 18 months and like went full time in a time when Google has been like, da, 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 and like, how do you feel about it? Like, do you, in hindsight, you feel good about the decision? And are you still full time? I want to know all the things. Sabina's going into a virtual meeting. She will be back. She said, Bloom later says, what? Oh yeah, talking about my legal fight site. He says, what? Wow, Google has been brutal lately. Yes. Mine is 5 months old with 85 out of 104 index. Not any traffic yet though. Starting to get impressions, which makes my heart fuzzy. Yes, well, many things about websites make my heart fuzzy. Jasper says that he published 70 articles since November on a new site and literally nothing is indexed. So there you go. So our friend Fletcher, our new friend who has a brand new site, started with Project 24 and is already getting 1,000 page views a month. I think we can all basically come together and say, good result. It's a good result. Yacine, I'm guessing at that. He or she says they love the stream, and I think it's great. Me too. I like being here. Tony says indexing is a real issue at the moment. It is. Yes, it is, but it is not a reason to give up, in my opinion, so far. So I'm continuing to push forward. I had a question, and our friend who asked the question is not here live, so he'll catch this on the replay. But the question was, have I noticed on the Mega site a difference between the traffic and earnings between content that I wrote myself and content that has been outsourced? And I don't know if I can answer that officially, and like objectively. Because right now, out of the top 20 posts on the site, 90% of those posts I wrote. And those posts were put up in the first 4 or 5 months of the site being launched and created, and all the things, right? It was before I really went to outsourcing. And I feel like there's a couple reasons for that. One, indexing has been a pain, right? So you look at it, you say, okay, a year later, like which posts are most likely to be in the Google ecosystem and having aged enough and getting traffic. And They're probably the posts that were launched in the first half of this project in the first 5 or 6 months. Uh, can I say with any certainty that the reason those posts are in the top 20 are mostly mine is because the content was written better? I'm not like an SEO genius in any shape or, and frankly, I learned a lot over the year, and so those initial posts that climbed into the top 20 were probably not very optimized. And I don't know what that says, right? That maybe my SEO efforts are counterproductive compared to when I would just like, I need to punch out content and get it up and not really worry too much about, optimizing. So the summary of that is I do notice a difference, but I do not, and I cannot, and I will not conclude that the reason is that I wrote them versus them being outsourced, because there are a lot of other variables that went into them, especially because of the indexing. So yes, I do notice a difference, and I don't have a good understanding yet exactly as to why. And I would like to see in another 6 months which are the top 20. Right now, the articles that are in the top 10 and top 20 are shifting madly. Like I had a monster post, like an outlier post for a long time. Like 6 months, I had one post that was getting maybe 5 or 6 times the amount of traffic as all of the rest of the articles, even like the number two post. And you look at those and you're like that's going to be interesting. Like, what's going to happen to that? And that post in October, November contracted dramatically. It contracted by 75%. I mean, it's getting a fraction of the traffic that it was getting. So you can see sort of why like the site was like on this like this trajectory and then sort of flattened out and just started to pick up again because all of the shifting going on. And uh, so yeah, I don't know. I wish I had a better answer for you there. I'm going back to the chat because I get way behind on this, and so I want to keep up. Maeve asks, have I posted any articles on the case study, the Otis Global age case study thing? And answer is yes. I I have posted one article on that, and I posted it on the first, and I have not submitted the sitemap to Google Search Console yet, and that article is not popping up yet as being indexed, and I don't expect it to. So here is my the thing that I need to figure out how to do in 2022, and that is how to manage my time and get all of my crap done. So I knocked out the fight site stuff, and then I have this like lofty goal on the Mega site for the month, which is well on its way to being done. And I keep thinking like, all right, if I set aside like a day or two, given what I was able to do on the fight site, I should be able to sit down and write. I wouldn't say all, but most of my content for the month in a couple of days. And so that's the plan. So the plan for this month is 25 articles for that site, and so far I have done one. But I'm going to stay on track. Like the goal is to stay on track along with the progress of the Mega site. So there will definitely be articles coming. They will be happening. I just only have one post up so far. Jesse says, this week marks 1 year full time. Man, has it already been a year? He says it was a great decision and he doesn't regret it. He was dinged by the November update and it stung, but I've got high hopes for 2022. You, my friend, have the perfect attitude. I'm right there behind you. I feel exactly those things. Yes. Bloom later says 75 of his 85 articles were indexed in the last 30 days. And I say, good for you. Good for you. I wish I were you. Niche site Jojo Wes says, I wonder if the indexing issues has anything to do with the large influx of AI content. There are some theories that Google no longer has the ability to crawl everything that is being produced as well or as effectively as it used to because of AI. Bloom later says, even though his site is indexing like mad right now, he said that for the first 4 months, only 10 of them got indexed. So basically what we should take away from that is just keep working hard, I think. Zach said that his site that he started in October is 100% indexed. All right. He said, but he did do a bunch of pay-per-click, so just running traffic to those articles right at the start. Not sure if this circumvented the indexing issues. It may or may not have, but that is a good tip for folks that are looking for something like they feel desperate, like I gotta find a way to get my site off the ground. Like maybe running paid traffic to it is the way to go. Pizzas. I'm like in the chat. I'm like not caught up with what's going on. Jay, what's going on? Says, do you use FAQ schema in your posts? I do not. I am like the simplest of simple, right? I'm calling myself simple. I don't even mind calling myself simple. I literally do the content and I do an image and a couple of simple on-page SEO tasks, and then I let it go. I know this, I'm probably leaving traffic on the table. But for me, I just acquire sort of knowledge and the ability to do thing over time. And, like I think about where I was last year and I think about where I was the year before. And every year I just do a little more, but I have not started with schema. I don't know. It's intimidating. It's just a thing. It's a thing. Strong interlinking. Yes. As long as you have indexed page, yes. Pastor Duke says, I fixed my indexing issues by interlinking every page in a category with every other page using a widget. I have been trying to do more interlinking, and I did not notice I guess like an immediate like response. And then over time, those pages began to also, be indexed and get traffic. And so I think, okay, well, was it time or was it the interlinking? And for me, I don't know, probably both, right? Probably both, right? If I had not done one or the other, like just let it sit, then it probably would not have done what I wanted it to. But I think that interlinking in general, there are many good reasons for it. And why not? Why not? Jesse is out. See you later. Wes says, keep it stupid simple. Well, it's easy when I feel stupid most of the time when it comes to websites. Oh, I was looking at my to-do list. One of the things I just wanted to own, and for those of you who followed the channel, know that last year, 12 months ago, 13 months ago, I made a lofty goal and I put it out to the universe and I spoke it and I did not make it. My goal was to get in 2021 this my YouTube channel, my main channel, to 10,000 subscribers, and I did not make it. And not only did I not make it, I didn't come anywhere near that. And there are many reasons for it, none of which I can lay blame on anyone but myself. As far as like whether or not to really go all in on YouTube, and you see a lot of our colleagues, they come out the gate and they make videos like crazy and they grow, really fast and get to 1,000 subscribers and get monetized. And then you see a lot of them just stop publishing or, making this statement like, I really need to focus on, my websites or on things. And so in the back of my mind, I still have this goal, a personal goal of wanting to get to 10,000 subscribers or further, right? Like you look at what Alex has done, he's gotten over 50,000 subs and he's like a pillar in our community. But Carl said this recently, and he's not the only one, but YouTube is such a beast you have to feed. Whereas websites, you put the content up and then you can work on the site, but you don't have to feed it quite the same as you do with YouTube. So I think that I've been thinking about my goals for YouTube for this year, and I think I'm just going to stay the course for what has been going on, what I've been doing. And I know that I won't grow as fast, and I may miss out on opportunities to earn ad revenue or sponsorships or whatever. But I think right now the beast that needs to be fed is the digital properties, the websites, and maybe in 2023 YouTube will be a focus. But I'm disappointed in myself, having put it out there that I wanted to work on a particular goal, but I'm going to be kind and say that it's okay. It's okay. And I see a lot of wisdom in letting that goal, that lofty, probably, given what I do already, it wasn't achievable. It wasn't a good goal to set. So I'm just going to put that out there for those of you who do what I do, which is create lofty goals that not always possible, right? And you hate to think that, like, oh, that is not possible for me. That feels like self-limiting, like, you know, just it seems like the wrong mindset. But one of the things that I do, and I do this regularly, and I'm kind of worried that I've done this already for 2022, is that I set goals that I'm setting myself up to fail. And for me, mentally, the failure part is it's demotivating. So I should not be setting goals that I could never achieve, because then, despite the fact that I managed to do this Herculean effort to try to get there and didn't make it, I will feel dissatisfied with the process and with the whole thing. And it's just because of my crappy goal setting. I should feel great about my efforts in 2021, but what it leaves me feeling is like, oh, like I didn't make my goal, and you know, feel like loser-ish because of it. And that's just my crappy goal setting. I had a great year, some of it, like I really did. And so I just need to look at the goals that I've set for myself in 2022 and think like, is that realistic? Like, really? And I wonder, as far as the content goals that I have, if maybe I need to, if I really want to go down that road of producing that much content, if it's realistic for me to say I'm going to write X of it, or I'm going to do these tasks. Anyway, that's what I'm thinking about right now is, are the goals that I set in 2022, are they appropriate? And looking at what I achieved in 2021 and my goals, as is kind of the base. Like, what can I learn about goal setting from having set goals that are not really realistic, like at all? Has anybody else set ridiculous goals for 2022 and kind of like started working on them already and kind of like, "Ooh, my bad." Nataraj Patil, what's going on? Thanks for dropping in. People do get burned out on YouTube because doing videos regularly is harder than it looks. Yes, I know. I mean, I know I make it look easy, right? Like getting on here and like waving my hands around like a monkey. It's actually a lot of work. And I've been streaming consistently for 2 years, and it's still a lot of work, still a lot of mental energy, and like to come on here and to be the best ish version of myself. It's hard. Sabina says, I'm a bit confused about the state of snippets right now. Yeah, nobody really knows, or maybe people do, but not me. I'm just not worrying about it. I'm just going to worry about trying to claw through my content goals and then just let the chips fall. Like, all right, I'm just going to do the work and then just hope that it works out. Bloom later says, cut myself some slack. You are raising. Yes, I am. And I'm trying to balance like being kind enough to myself, but pushing myself, like trying to maximize what I can get out of myself, because I have these like financial goals, and I do have those children that I have to eventually send to college one day, and I don't know how I'm going to pay for it. Goals change, never. Yep, yep. Jasper says, I think with YouTube, the best goal to set is an upload schedule. Yes, I think that setting goals around things that I cannot control, like the number of subscribers achieved or accumulated, is bad. That is a mistake. And I have made similar mistakes before as far as like traffic and earnings. And I'm trying really hard to get away from that. And I've done well with the websites, but not as much with YouTube. Wesley says avoiding burnout is important and setting tangible goals is critical. Not just important, but critical. Set smaller goals, but more of them. Yes. And yes, Wes says that he talks about that in video. Yeah, I think that the more we can talk about mindset, like that's relevant to websites, and people are like, oh, like this is a soft thing. I really want to know about hosting or like the technical aspects of it. You wonder why all the gurus eventually start like talking about mindset, right? They're very practical. Like they make tutorial videos about how to use this tool and that tool, and then you find eventually that they start talking about mindset. Is because in the end, the mindset is really what will get us there. Yeah, the hard skills are important, but it's the soft part of it that will get us over the hump and then keep us in. Andy says hi, and I say, hey, Andy, what's going on? Eric says, I can change goals. Yes, that's actually true. He says he sets 90 days of goals and adapt every quarter. So what about this argument then, though, that we should be setting 5-year goals? like long-term goals so that if we fail in the short term, we won't necessarily feel, I guess, the mental load of the failure because we still have so much time to overcome those challenges and achieve the goal that we set. I generally have never set 5-year goals. I mean, like things like going to law school, right? That's a, finishing law school, that's a 3-year goal, or getting a job, but never, I have a hard time with 5 years from now because I feel like so much could happen in just a year. Like, where do I want to be in 5 years? I'll ask the chat. What do you want to be doing in 5 years? What is your 5-year goal? Have you made a 5-year goal? And do you think it's a good idea? Because I'm not sure. I would like to know. Tony says it takes him a week to produce a single 15-minute video. For me, like those, like the income reports, like the Mega site income report that takes 8 minutes to watch, it takes me about 7 hours to make. And it's not even that good. It's not like, like graphics and like transitions and like multiple angles, and it just takes forever. Takes forever. Bloom later says, is YouTube harder than blogging? I think writing is pretty exhausting too. It's just different. It's just different. I can bust out a blog post, in 45 minutes to an hour. And if I, work really diligently and but then it's done, right? It's like launched. I published it and then it's out on the ether and it goes to do what it does. But I spend, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour recording the video and then 4 hours editing it. And by the end, I'm zapped. I'm going to do nothing else. And so for me, yes. For me, yes, YouTube, when I'm actually trying hard, is harder than blogging. Now, if I was just going to spend all day just talking and not doing any editing or any real thinking, then yeah, I don't think that's quite as hard. But yeah, YouTube is harder for me. Nataraj says, I started an events website. I'm not sure if AdSense is going to approve it. Please guide me. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, it's not going to violate the terms of service, but when you have an events website, you want to make sure there's at least some like meat of content on there as well. So not just specifically like a calendar with stuff. I think it's possible, but the answer is I'm not sure. I don't know. Wes says most people don't have the patience for this business, and it's the patience and it's also the grit, right? It's the willingness to do the boring thing longer than anybody else. I've heard this come up a lot in the last 12 months where people say, okay, the fun part is starting the site, the honeymoon. And then once that's over, it's just grinding it out and grinding it out long enough to achieve the goals that you have set. And it can be boring, not enjoyable, like mentally, it's hard. It's hard. Sabina says no 5-year goal. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, 5-year goals could be good. Zach says smart goals are one of the few ideas I retain from corporate. That's a great tool for motivation and progress tracking. So he says specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-based. What he said. Soren says for 5 years out, I wouldn't call it a goal, but more of a vision. Game Guy says he wants to be alive. Yes. And enjoying life. Also, yes. Pete says regarding YouTube sub target says, I disagree. You made the decision to hyper focus on the Mega site and others, then achieve some of the goals related to that. That is a success, right? That's the thing, is last year was successful. It was. But I feel like a failure because I put it out there in the world, and when I say I'm going to do something, then I feel obligated to do it. I know, and then that's my own fault. That's just crappy goal setting. Yeah. Tony says, I don't think it's a good idea for such long-term goals. The reason being is you never know what's around the corner. Yeah, who's gonna plan for COVID? Not me. Zach says he has a 5 to 10-year vision, but it's too general to call a real goal. Eric says that you take your long-term goal and set milestones. 5 years with steps to be reached for each coming year. Not a bad idea. He said the 90 days are divided into months and weeks and days. Tony says you only ever fail if you quit blogging or YouTube. Yes, a lot of people are talking about boring recently. Eric says that Sean Mars was talking about blogging being boring or some of the tasks involved with blogging being boring. So what I have done to try to combat I like variety in my work. And so to combat the boring, I have like just spending time interlinking, right? Like you could use a tool like Link Whisper to make that happen. For me, I like to do the links manually. And so what I often do is put on an audiobook that's interesting to me and put it on so I feel like my brain is engaged instead of just like background listening music so that I can feel like I'm doing something productive in that time aside from, I mean, the linking is productive, but it's not interesting. So I can still be excited about coming to the computer to do this kind of mindless work because my brain is still awake and alive and like I'm feeding it. So that's one of the things I have to do to combat the boredom. Tony says, also, who cares how long it takes to achieve something as long as you get there? Yes. Well, for me, I'm very goal focused. Like I have to see something out there and get there and I'm also motivated by people knowing that I have something out there. Like it's part of an accountability lever for me is people knowing that I'm going to do something because if people don't know, then for me, sometimes I just feel like doing something else, like shiny object, like squirrel, like that looks interesting. I should create that thing. So having people know and saying it out loud, yes, there's a risk that people know that I failed, and in this, I just straight up admitted I didn't do what I said I was going to do. Um, then that's like the purpose of my accountability sort of team and community. But at the same time, I also wanted to acknowledge just like the foolishness of the goal in the first place. And I know there's people who are lurking and working in there who have done similar things to me, and they don't have to admit to it. Nobody has to put up a hand and say me, that was me. But I just figured I would own it and then take from it what you will. Come across says, do you build backlinks on your sites? I do not. I don't. You're welcome to. Other people do and have great results. I just could only focus on building skills in specific areas at one time. And right now, backlinks is not it. Sabina says, it feels exceptionally boring right now. I think it's just the time of year. It's boring, but so this is where you have to then figure out how to make the mental load of the boredom and how to make it work for you or find some way to keep yourself going to get through it. Because I don't know with some of these established sites if it's ever going to get more exciting. I mean, yes, you have the joy of like, oh, I'm going to check my phone and get the dopamine hit of how much money did I make yesterday. But in the end, it's still going to be the same tasks like write content, order content, unless you find some other aspect of the content creation process that is interesting and stimulating, like doing interviews or adding a podcast or something else that will help you create content in a way that is not boring. But otherwise, you're just going to figure out how to slog your way through it. Wes says, take the kids outside. Yes. I hope we can chat in a video one day soon. And I'm glad I caught this. Oh, he says he's going to take the kids outside. I thought he was telling me to take the kids outside. I was like, yeah. But yeah, definitely take the kids outside. You're better off doing that than hanging out in here with us. And we're glad that you caught us live too. Eric says, let's face it, you are successful. Oh, yeah. Well, here's the thing. I have an ego that's like, it's about that big, right? Sometimes it's even smaller. And I'm super critical of myself. And that's something that I am working on, right? Like I talk about it to other people. Like I tell people when I see it, like, you got to be more kind to yourself. You're working really hard. But then to turn it around on myself, we just have a hard time doing that. I have a hard time doing that. I did create this group, yes, and it's helping you a lot, which is awesome. And yes, because nobody does understand. Nobody does around me. They're like, "You do what?" And part of it is because I don't have a normal job title that makes sense. I'm like, I am a content publisher, and they're like, "What?" I'm like, I build digital properties. They're like, "Huh?" I make websites. So like, "Ooh, could you do mine?" I'm like, "No, I don't make websites. I mean, I do make websites, but I don't make like I'm not good at it." Tony says, I think being hard on yourself can be counterproductive. Yes, 100%. It is. It totally is. And I think that there are probably many people in this group who just need to own that as well. I won't name any names, but you know who you are. You know who you are. Pete says, not crappy goals. I think they were crappy goals, but you disagree with me. I see. Set too many. Yes, yes. Realize later you diversified and stretched too far. Yes, I did that. At that point, goals had to change. Yeah, I still will. I just do. That's what you get when you come to the stream, is me trying to hold myself accountable in some way to focus and get my stuff done. That's just part of it. Jasper said, that's something I learned last year. I was super hard on myself, which only made me feel worse, which led me to being less productive. Yes. So finding the right balance of accountability, and holding yourself accountable and keeping yourself going versus the kindness. Like there's a balance there. Like you could be too kind to yourself and you're like, oh, I'm feeling so bad. I should just take the night off, when you really needed to go and write a blog post. There's a balance. It takes a while to find it. There's Coop. What's going on? He says better late than never. And I think it's always better when you are around. And I saw you in the Icarus spreadsheet, and your comment in the green column about yourself made me laugh, and I wanted to go find it because I just think you're funny. And I cannot find it this minute. But it was something about like asking people to tell us a bit about yourself. And he's like, I'm like unique. I am the only one. And I'm seeing our friend Game Guy. I see you in our Icarus spreadsheet 2 times. So I think you are in there. You're next to Alex. And then I think there's just so many people in there you couldn't find yourself. Oh, yes. He says, I am me, a unique snowflake in the universe. That's Josh. He is a completely unique snowflake. That should be your nickname. We'll say the snowflake is here and he is unique. Sue, is that Sue? Hey, Sue, what's going on? And no worries about the all caps. It doesn't bother me. Sue, how are you? How's it going? I mean, is your life back to normal now that Alex is back live streaming? And what's the progress? I just want to know all the things. I want to know all the things. Josh says work was work today. Ah, yes. Sometimes that's what it is. Eric says that most of us are hard on ourselves. We push for more content, and that's probably one of the things that brings us to this business. We like the ability to have some control and to be in charge. And those of us who continue, like make it through the first couple of months, I mean, we're probably harder on ourselves than other people who aren't interested in this kind of business, or people who don't self-select and stay in it. It's because we are that kind of person. And it's just sort of the danger of that, of like letting it run away with us. Yes, I am unique. He says, oh, yeah, found him. Yeah. Soren says, here's a random idea. How about an online Zoom accountability mastermind every month for everybody in the spreadsheet? That is a good idea. The question is how do we control who's in or out? The other thing is I participate in 2 or 3 masterminds in a given month. And what happens when you have more than 4 or 5 people is that it can be difficult for everybody to participate without talking over each other. So the idea of a Zoom thing is a good one, but we would need to figure out how to make it productive, and not just be like me talking like this and then everybody else but their faces in the corner, without it also taking like 8 hours. Because if we had 25 people, we have like 50 plus people in this right now, right? So if everybody got a chance to talk, it's like an 8-hour day. So yes. One of the things somebody suggested to me recently was that I create I'm going to put up my air quotes, premium, or like the membership deal, and like have it be a paid version, so people would have like paid access to that. For me, I like the idea, but it's a distraction for me right now because I'm so focused on websites, and I honestly don't know what sort of interest there would be in that, and like what would be superior, like how would having like a premium sort of access to that stuff, like what would it actually gain people? Now for the folks that are in this group already, there is absolutely nothing stopping you from setting up like your own Zoom accountability like meetings, and you're welcome to talk about it and do it. I just don't know if there is, because I already do this, if there is added benefit to people having more access to me, and if it's a good use of our time, or if we should be using that time to just post content. I don't know. I'm curious. Sue says that she started a new site this week and a Chimenea business wants to buy the Chimenea site. What? Sue's going to sell a site? Oh, well done, my dear. That's awesome. That is really exciting and a great example of what can happen when you really niche down on a particular product or a particular topic and then make it look good. They just want to buy it. That's awesome. That is so cool. Josh says that he's finally starting to record videos for the new channel to match this site, which is awesome. Tony says, how's my lecture coming on for the May the 20th? And I say that I have not written it or gone too far down the road with it because I think my presentation time is only 15 minutes. And so I'm not as concerned about it as I was before because I honestly don't even know how Carl is going to get people on and off the stage, how quickly and like how close the all of the speakers are lined up. So I have a feeling that it may be even less time. So I'm not too concerned about it. Um, Tony says, create assets when you have enough to give the membership. I got my first book coming out in April. Woo! And it is in edit now. Just create assets that will pay you later. I need to do a better job of this. Sabina says, I think you are more of a mindset guru now than I know. That is what the mastermind would offer. So the mindset aspect of it, that could be interesting. Tony says that he's had people offer serious money for simplified gardening, but it's my brand. I'll never sell it. Never, like never ever. I mean, like, especially when people put like themselves on it, like they put their picture and like their face, and then their blog posts like tell the story and their experiences. So that makes sense to me. Eric says, I will work on the site that does not get indexed until this weekend, and then I will start to write for my Icarus project. All right. That sounds like a good plan. Soren says he recommends a hot seat style agenda, and I can facilitate it if people would be okay with it. Well, if we didn't think it would be a distraction, and it could be a distraction, I would be willing to participate in this. But I would not want anybody to contribute maybe more than an hour or 90 minutes to it, because at that point, after that, we are just talking about getting stuff done and not actually getting stuff done. There's Chris, Niche Safari Chris. What is going on? Chris, we already blamed you for everything. So you missed that part, as always. The giraffe is booked his head up. Yippee. Tony says, I will gladly sell my other sites, though, and this new one is planned for a $500,000 exit in 4 years. Not a 5-year goal, though. Chris was the one who actually got me started thinking about 5-year goals. Chris, we were talking about that earlier, and about, for me, how hard it has been to come up with a 5-year goal, because it feels I have a hard time with it. It's like trying to conceptualize what my life will look like for 5 years from now. It's almost like trying to understand that the universe is still expanding, right? Like the universe is still growing and still understanding, trying to like wrap my brain around it, and it sort of like fuzzes out. Like it just doesn't do it. I had a question recently about search volume. Somebody was like, do you really not pay that close attention to search volume when you're going on keywords? And the answer is, I really don't. I used to pay more attention to it. Like, oh, like I would see keywords that the volume is too high or too low, or I should only be targeting this, that, or whatever. And at this point now, I can't be bothered. I look more at competition. Do I think I can rank for it? And then after that, I just sort of let it be. I don't think that analyzing the search volume has done much for me at this point, because the tools generally don't give you a good estimate on it. I've been having some good luck recently with zero search, zero volume keywords. So keywords that, one, don't show up in the keyword tools, that just seem like they make sense, right? Like it just makes sense that somebody would be searching for that. Actually getting some traffic for those keywords because nobody else is writing for them. And you say, well, how do you figure out those if you don't have a keyword research tool telling you what the keywords are? And John Smith, another YouTuber, says that he did this for one of his niches, where he just knows the niche well enough, and he just sat down and said, okay, this is information that people are going to want, and I'm going to write an article about it and trust that eventually somebody will be searching for the content. And he's right. He is totally right. There are lots of keywords out there that aren't popping up in the keyword tools that you can get traffic for, and started to have success doing that. So getting away from leaning so heavily on keyword tools and really diving into the niche, putting yourself in the shoes of the person who is seeking out information on those topics and say, what would they really want? And it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun to see those risks paying off. Uh, let's see. Sabina says keywords is just frustrating right now. Yeah, it just means that you need to practice more. That's all. Eric and Chris are talking about Mike. I don't know what's up with that. Sue says, yeah, people are talking about gardening websites and Sue selling her sites, which is awesome. So folks folks who are in the Icarus spreadsheet who are catching this live or on the replay, I just want to do a couple things. One is thank you all for being in here and checking in on the spreadsheet. I would say about 3/4 of the people who are in this project are checking in at least once a week and sometimes on the daily, which is really great. And you don't even realize how much you are helping your colleagues and our new friends. Just going in there and just scrolling across and seeing that for today being the 12th, that people have started to post updates for stuff that they have done. That's motivating, right? Just surrounding myself with people who are taking action, that makes a difference. And also seeing people owning up to the reasons maybe why they didn't get something done, like just being honest, say I didn't work today because I was sick. And then you watch them like the next day or the next week overcome that and move forward and still get their stuff done. Like that stuff is motivating. And so I encourage you to continue to use this in whatever way makes sense for you. So if it's updating it once a week, then update it once a week. And if going in there every day or multiple times a day or logging in every time you finish something is helpful, then great, do it. And for those of you who have gotten into the spreadsheet and have not updated a single time, well, I still want you to be successful. I do not wish ill upon you. I still want you to be successful. And yeah, so there. Let's go out and do a heck of a lot of work in the next week because we're almost halfway through the month. Checking the chat one more time before we wrap up. Chris is talking about, oh, yeah, somebody's got a $44 RPM on YouTube, which is amazing. So are we talking about the CPM or the actual RPM? Because the CPM of 44, I've definitely seen that on this channel, but I've never seen the RPM that high. And if it is that high, then it's amazing. Zach says, thinking like a real business. Yes. So putting yourself in your customer's shoes, it can really make a difference. Anthony says he likes to go to forums and see what people are asking about in the niche and then write articles on those questions, even if they don't show up in autosuggest. Yes, great ideas. Definitely great ideas. Stephen, what is going on? You caught us right as we're getting to wrap up. Stephen, as always, Happy New Year. It's great to see you, and I hope that everything is going well with you and your sites. Sabina says, I do like Sarah. Well, I like Sarah also. And I reward myself after I finish writing up by logging into the, oh, you do like Sarah. Oh, you take action like Sarah. I thought you said that you liked Sarah. I was like, yeah, she's great. You said you do it like Sarah. Okay. And so you log onto the sheet after you finish to reward yourself. Okay. I get it now. Tony says the RPM is 44, which is amazing. So what is the CPM then? That would be awesome. I would like to know. That is so fun. He's like, yeah, I know. And Sue says, are you still coming to York? I don't have flights yet. I don't actually even know yet what Carl and my agreement was as far as like the travel and stuff. I haven't checked in with them in a while because I didn't know whether or not flights were part of it, and I need to ask. I basically just need to ask. Yes, Sarah is really great too. Sue, I will tell you and everybody that I did finally file the paperwork. I'll put it in the mail anyway to have my passport renewed so that at least travel will be an option because I was riding with an expired passport. So I did submit that. So I did take action to make this trip happen. So we will just see where it goes from here. Folks, it is top of the hour. As always, it is a pleasure to speak with you, to see you. If you're catching this on the replay, smash the thumbs up button before you head out. I look forward to talking with you in 1 week. In the meantime, I plan to try and get a heck of a lot of stuff done. I also plan to record the month 12 MEGA update video. I regret to inform you that after the 12th video in the series that I will move to a maybe a less often schedule. I'm not going to be making videos on the Mega site as regularly anymore, but I do plan to move updates to a written form to a blog. So I will direct people there to that when I actually get it started. I bought the domain for it, but I haven't installed WordPress on it or gotten started yet. But that is another thing on my to-do list. Like, check the box. But do expect to see the Mega update video probably by the end of the week, and I look forward to hearing what y'all think about it and see if anybody got close enough to win an hour on Zoom. As always, thank you so very much. Thank you for being my accountability partners, and I will talk to you in a week. Take care, everybody. Have a great day, a great week. Get lots of stuff done. Work hard.